What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with our mock draft Monday. Today we are drafting from the 106, the number 6 spot. Typical league format, and let's jump into this one. So wanted to get a draft from the middle. Done some on the edge recently, done some, I think we've done the 108 so far, but wanted to give you guys a true grasp. I feel like these are one of the better ideas to get a real grasp of who are the players you're really targeting. When you're not on an end, you don't have to reach quite as much. Gives you a little bit more options. Let's take a look at the draft board. So running back heavy here, Jamar Chase, Saqoun, Bijan, Achane, Jahmyr Gibbs. Achane a little bit unique there at the 104 for sure, but you get the chaos of the home league, I guess, in these draft simulations. So right off the bat, I'm probably looking at probably receiver. I'm leaning CeeDee Lamb here at the 106. Just feel like I'm going to be able to lock in a ton of receiving volume, a dynamic playmaker with a great quarterback, and high touchdown potential. Other guys I would consider would be Christian McCaffrey, but I'm going to go ahead and go the safe route and take CeeDee Lamb here at the 106. Especially if this is a PPR draft, he would give a massive bump for me. This is half, but just so people have context for their other leagues. One of the main reasons I don't mind going wide receiver early in the draft is some of these running backs that get to me around 2 consistently. Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. Love the upside of both of those players. Give you guys a peek at the draft board just so you know what's been going on so far. McCaffrey went shortly after. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on Josh Jacobs here. Just think he is on a great offense. Good offensive line, and has a good chance at repeating for touchdowns, similar to what he did last year. Okay, another good, really, I'm excited about where this pick is headed. I think I know who I'm going to take already, but I'm going to give everybody a look at the board here to see what happened after I pulled the trigger on Jacobs. So Kyren Williams gets to me, finishes RB7 this last year, I believe. T. Higgins was our wide receiver 2 in points per game. But I'm going to go ahead and take Kyren Williams here. Him at 306 is one of the best values in fantasy. I just don't really understand why I'm able to get him so late. I do agree that, there's some other running backs that I like the upside of a little bit more, but at that point in the draft, all those players had already been taken. And Kyren just gives you a lot of stability. He's got a great chance of scoring touchdowns. He's a workhorse in that offense. So it gives you a lot of upside. I'm really glad that I pulled the trigger on CeeDee Lamb, just getting that dynamite wide receiver in round 1 and able to pair him with Josh Jacobs and Kyren Williams. I feel really confident about my running back position, and glad I got the difference maker at the wide receiver position to start the draft. So right here, Joe Burrow is a guy I would consider here a little bit. Sam Laporta, not willing to pull the trigger on him quite yet. Mike Evans is still out there. I do think he is a really good player, worthy of the pick. This one's tough for me because I do think Joe Burrow is worthy of this pick, but I'm going to go ahead and take Mike Evans here, and I'm going to hope maybe Joe Burrow gets back to me. I'm not going to count on it, but we'll see. Yes. Okay. Joe Burrow got back. I'm not going to take a tight end early. I am going to take the early quarterback. Joe Burrow, that connection he has, the weapons with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and then the state of that defense right now, 2 of their better defensive players. At least, it's hard to tell about Jamar Stewart. He was a first-round pick. But, we don't even know if they're going to be playing football for the roster right now. And that gives you grave concerns considering the defense was horrendous last year. But that ups the fantasy stock for me on Joe Burrow, on Jamar Chase, on T. Higgins, on Chase Brown, on all of those players. So it's not necessarily a bad thing when you're looking at it from a fantasy football perspective. So, yeah, just giving you guys a look at the board there. Devonta Smith still out there. I'm very tempted to pull the trigger on him here and add him, throw him into my flex position. And that is what I'm going to go ahead and do. To me, there's a massive drop-off at the wide receiver position after him, so I'm going to go ahead and stack him. And then actually the player that I was hoping would get back to me here did, Brian Robinson Jr. I think he's a great value where he's going in drafts. He doesn't necessarily have a ton of upside, but I think he is a very, very safe floor. He's going to be the number one running back, going to be the goal line guy for a team that should have a very good offense. They've made some offensive line upgrades this offseason, and we've seen him be good for fantasy football when he's been able to be on the field before. So I think he's a really good value where he's going right now. And I'll give you guys a look at the draft board. And then you can see we've got really good wide receivers. We don't have a tight end yet. But, yeah. Okay. So, Jordan Addison's still out there. He could get a suspension. Jauan Jennings is out there. I do think he's an attractive option at this point in the draft. At the tight end position, we do have Travis Kelce out there. I'm going to go ahead and take Jauan Jennings here just because there's a drop-off to me at the wide receiver position after this guy as well. And I'm going to see if I can't get Travis Kelce in this next round, and I can. He's available in round 9. This is one of the things that I don't understand about where Kelce's going right now. 97 catches this last year, only 3 receiving touchdowns. I think that number goes up. And there's not many tight ends that you can get that are going to catch 100 passes, let alone have 133 targets. I just think he's in a solid role in that offense, and you could do a lot worse than a guy who's going to go out there and give you points every week and could easily catch 8 touchdowns in that offense. Even considering, it's been down these last few years, just with Patrick Mahomes, their connection, that upside is there. And I've taken some wide receivers here. Jaden Reed, I do think is a good football player. He's available, but I'm going to go ahead and take a running back here. Give me the upside of Isaac Guerendo. If something happens to Christian McCaffrey, he could be an absolute smash pick for fantasy football. Pulled the trigger on him there. This is kind of an insurance option, but give me a Buka. Just think with Mike Evans' injury history, you add in Chris Godwin returning from injury and his injury history, him being a first-round draft pick, Baker throwing 40 touchdowns last year. There's a lot of good things for him, and he's, everyone has given him very, very high praise so far this season for how he started in camp. And I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Wright, another guy, great upside to me with Devon Achane. And then Marshawn Lloyd, give me the Kupp to Josh Jacobs, and that'll round out our draft here, I do believe. Perfect. And now we'll get to look at the team. So we got Joe Burrow, Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, Devonta Smith, Brian Robinson, Jauan Jennings, Isaac Guerendo, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen Wright, and Marshawn Lloyd. I really do like this team. I was really tempted to take Christian McCaffrey at that 106 spot, but really happy that I took CeeDee Lamb considering the running backs I was able to get onto the roster, and then getting Mike Evans, Devonta Smith later, getting Brian Robinson as an insurance running back. I feel like I've got good depth at a lot of the big positions, have a stud quarterback and a dependable tight end with touchdown upside. I really do like this team. One of the more exciting teams I've drafted all year, and again, this was from the 106. If you're able to snag up the discount that some people are getting on CeeDee Lamb right now, I would absolutely do it. I do think he's going to have a great season this upcoming year, and I'm excited to see what he can do with George Pickens and that lack of a running game there in Dallas. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching.